Yeah, so I'm live. That was fun. So yeah, yeah, I just want to be very, very clear. Um, so someone else talked about Christine's kid, and someone else told me that Christine was talking about uh her kid in an inappropriate way that I did find concerning, and I shared it. And then they're making it as if like I talked about it. No, she talked about it. Um, and all the people, yeah, I don't know. It's just very, it's like, it's very ironic because all those people are saying, get off the internet from being on the internet. Um, but yeah, but they're on the internet. They're on panel. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, like, but I'm like one of the people that if you ask to go up on panel, I'll actually like you might be surprised, but I'll actually show up, but you just won't like what you'll hear. Um, and yeah, and yeah, and ironically, like here's what I've been doing the entire day. I worked the entire day, right? And went to sleep, and then woke up, and they're still on panel. Um, yeah, and I'm FCC, and if you possibly speak against me, then you must have a mental issue of some sort. I'm Dr. FCC. It's like that's literally all of FCC's arguments. But here's the thing: FCC will call Alex, and he has called Alex. Well, okay, I want to bring that in. But I'm saying like he calls other people racists. But FCC is a total racist. He actually said that blacks in California aren't real blacks. That's considered a racist statement. But then he'll you know, criticize other people for um, you know, saying other statements. But yeah, actually I don't want to bring anyone else into it. I'll pump the brakes on that. But FCC, I will bring FCC into it. And also, he said something about a certain person that has no legs, and he reminded them that they can't run a lap. So if you don't think any of those statements are bigoted and racist statements, then that's kind of the thing is they just have no principles. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will kind of backtrack because I'm not trying to involve other people. But yeah, it's kind of like they were like, "Why don't you come up?" And that's the thing is I will come up. It's also ironic because FCC will frame everything as if you disagree with him, that there's something wrong with you. And if you think about the insinuation from that, that actually kind of implies that any kind of like let's say someone does have some kind of mental health issue, or let's say I think he's even used autism in that analogy. He actually believes that those are insults. So I mean, like it's just I mean, FCC, from what I can tell, is a very uh bigoted person. Um, and yeah, But yeah, to be very clear, I don't talk about anyone's kids. I was presented to what I thought was concerning information and responded to it. And honestly, to when had my last catch, I mean, my new thing is when I do go into catching, I'm I I'm going to go into this where I don't know anyone anything. I'm gonna go on all these catches alone. Um, and I'm gonna do it. I wanna all I wanna all my goal is I wanna gather information on online predators in my city and disseminate that information to law enforcement and the public when I can. That was Racist 100. I'm a prairie boy. Um, SEC talking about California blacks. I was like, whoa. But yeah, and also as far as let's talk about like statements. Locksmith's statement. Something I was kind of thinking about is when he did make his justification for his other statements was he said that the law of nature trumps the law, I guess. He was talking about teenagers with other teenagers, but that's actually in of itself not against the law with teenagers with other teenagers, as he was saying. Um, what's against the law is if you're an adult with your teenagers. So that's the only conceivable analogy. So I kind of just heard that and now like I heard that statement and I kind of took it at face value, like, all right, that's what he meant. But then I thought about it, and I mean, it doesn't really make sense because what he would be talking about wouldn't need to try to, I guess, override the law because it's not illegal. Like what's illegal is the only thing that is really illegal is an adult meeting up with a kid, an adult having sex with a kid. Um, but yeah, but I will share the link. But as far as someone who truly thinks, as far as FCC goes, someone who truly thinks that people of different races or maybe if they have a disability or a disorder or even probably even autism are less than is FCC from anything that he said. And I think that that's what real racism is. And when, maybe if you said things that I would argue probably can follow you in a negative way, but you generally don't view people different than you as inferior, that's not racist. But yeah, I'm gonna share the link. I gotta pin it though. I gotta pin the link on the panel. Yeah, they're just so gross. I don't know. Wait, Did they end the stream over this? Ew, they're coming and they're coming here. No, because I have not behaved in a bad way. I stick to my principles and I mean what I say. Because here's the thing. Something I would ask is point to something actually tangible, something specific that I've actually done, and then, we can talk about it. But if it's kind of just broad brush generalization, be like, oh, your behavior, right? That's too generic. Your behavior. And then just say, oh, well, that's bad. It's like all this broad brush generalizations because they can't pin to something specific. So I actually think they actually ended. I believe they actually ended the live. For some reason, I'm not really sure why. Hmm. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. They literally asked me to go up, so I'm kind of like, that's the thing is that's kind of the difference is, no, I actually will go up. I mean, maybe it usually works in someone else, or maybe they'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna go up. It's like I'm outnumbered or whatever. But no, I will go up. Oh, I don't know. Exactly. So you can't really make like that's the thing is no one can really make a real argument against me. I mean, it's kind of like it's like again, pin to something specific, but then I'll be like, oh well, I'm not gonna do that because of this reason and that reason. So um, it's just I don't know. It's just a bunch of trash. Well, yeah, why not? We'll go live. Yeah, but here's like the most disgusting part is like Christine was kind of making it as almost I was saying it, and no, I'm not gonna accept that gaslighting. Whatever I highlighted was being presented to me, and it was actually concerning information that yeah, and I did highlight it, but as if like I made the statement. No, I didn't make any statement, and I don't talk about anyone's kids. I hope your parents are proud of you. Again, like all ad hominem attacks. Yeah, like that's exactly it. Like Ryan just responds to them saying and pinning all this on Ryan. So I literally was anything I did was just a response. No, I highlighted Mr. X's comment. Well, the way it was presented to me wasn't medical. Um, but again, if I don't know that, then I don't know that. But if I'm just presented the information in the beginning, someone says, "Oh wow, like someone said this," I'll be like, "Oh wow," and then I did highlight it. That's called having a genuine reaction. And then after that point, I gather information, and then make a decision. But yeah, yeah, I don't need parents. I got PegCon proud of me. I put all my validation in PegCon. Um, I was medically doxxed. What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand. And don't get me wrong, I could care less if people like me troll me or bully me. I'm over that, but never my kids. No, I never talked about your kids. You talked about your kids. So, yeah, I didn't talk about anyone's kids. Again, ad hominems, two-faced, your brain is sick, no one making a real point. Hold on. I think is that a screen name? I might be mistaken here. Okay. Okay, I guess she's responding to a screen name. My bad. But in general, kind of just show how they respond. Yeah, Locksmith actually said that. He said teens like they're ready, and he said it like really enthusiastically, like they're ready. I mean, ready for what? See, that's the thing. I mean, I can back up anything I say. You can ask me about anything I said and did, and I have an answer. I won't need to resort to ad hominem attacks or anything like that and be like, well, the problem is you. You need to contact a healthcare provider. Which, I mean, if anything, it does kind of insinuate that if someone like has actually like an issue like that, that somehow that's in some way inferior, I guess. Like there's an implied insult, nonetheless, right? Yeah, I'm pulling the strings. 3-day annihilator, isn't that exactly what Ryan is doing here? Well, I can do whatever I want to do here. Is the Islander saying it's mind-boggling? Like they want to have a chat. Why do it live on YouTube? Um, actually, I don't know what that means actually. But yeah, it's what's actually true is I never talked about anyone's kids. They talked about she spoke about her own kids. That's actually true. Is like the topic would have easily been off the kids if you don't talk about the kids. In fact, had you never talked about the kids, then I would have never that me even highlighting what I thought was concerning information never even would have happened. So maybe uh better decisions. Karma's a bitch. I'll actually say this in a I can't really take it seriously as a threat, but I'll say it in a FCC voice. Karma is a bitch, Ryan. Fuck around and find out. And it's also as far as like using the kids issue, um, it's like they basically apologize for someone who's and tried to deflect questions from someone who's a suspect in a child porn investigation with no even given explanation. So where's the issue on the kids there? It's just weird. I don't know. Ryan, parents talk about their kids, go through all the damn time. So again, I will just restate that anything I have ever said was a response. I have not initiated a topic about someone's kids in the way that it was insinuated. No, like that's like I have to do it. I have to do another impersonation. Ryan, are you listening to what you're saying? Honestly, you haven't listened to what I said. Well, it's just like again, respond like make an argument against what I'm actually saying. Then I can hear what I'm saying. I do understand what I'm saying. No, highlighting the comment was highlighting a comment for any reason you highlight a comment. So it's like if someone says, "Yo, did you see this person and he did this and they said that about that and it's genuinely concerning," I might highlight it because it will stand out to me. So then you can't say me reacting in a genuine way, which if anything actually shows a real concern about kids. Me reacting in a genuine way is in any way nefarious or wrong. So it's like I don't accept the gaslighting. Are you married, Ryan? Do you have kids? It sounds like that's an ad or something. Then you need to take this pill. Are you married, Ryan? Do you have kids? You're almost 30. One, I wouldn't be married. That's a bad decision. Um, Let go and live your life to saying it. Again, it's like it's all see like the kind of attacks like he's like he'll make everything but an argument on the merit. Everything but. And it's kind of like I'm just not going to hear anything about bigotry from the most bigoted person I've possibly ever interacted with. Yeah, so I mean, there's nothing on my end that I did. I highlighted what I thought was concerning information. So, like, I'm not gonna pretend there's nothing I did that was wrong, unless you can, convince me. Yeah, while logged on, while being on panels all the time, like he's always on panels. Everything is concerning to you, Ryan. Well, I mean, a lot of concerning information I've seen. Yeah, the link is pinned, so it's like it's more than fair game. I mean, the link is pinned. Because I hear, and actually, I'll say this, I hear so much fucking crazy shit on that side of things that I wasn't that it wouldn't be out of the ordinary that something like that wouldn't happen. So I thought it was actually um highlighting concerning information. Hello. Hello. Oops.
I can't hear you. Just a second. I did something here. Hello. Oh, I can hear you now. Hello. Whoops.
Yeah,
I can't hear you. Just a
I
second.
think there's an echo though.
Hello. Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah,
I can't. Just a second.
there's an echo
Okay.
though. Yeah. So don't answer. Highlight a comment about my. No, it wasn't about your son. It was about you talking about your son. It's about you. You talking about your son. Like if it was like just like their son or whatever, I probably would have that reaction, be like, oh, I'm not gonna talk about that. But it was about you talking about your son, into what I thought was, in a sick way. Um, and that was how it was presented to me initially. So I would highlight it. But it wasn't just about your son. It was about you talking about your son. Like it's about you. Yeah, exactly. That's what I really did. I questioned it. If you don't like it, well, you're gonna have to get used to it. Yeah, it's about her talking about her son. See, if you notice, gaslighting does not work here. So yeah. Oh, if you got your audio issue, I'll let you up. I don't want you cam reveal. All right, yeah,
Yeah, I fixed it.
okay.
I was looking into the wrong phone and I had the other one on. So I shut the
Yeah, but
other one off.
also, I acknowledged that I didn't even hear the full statement. So I acknowledged that I didn't have the full information. Now it's like I kind of just read it as like that's concerning information. Wow. And I would
That's
do it again because that was just nothing other than a genuine reaction.
that's a familiar tactic. And after we all talked and everything, and then today I saw Christy in a stream with the redhead there, Angela G, one of Ed's friends, um, agreeing with all the people who say I'm mentally ill. And I noticed in the conversation and what you're saying now, an extremely familiar standard tactic. And those people
Yeah.
do have a playbook. And this is the tactic. They put their children in some apparently innocent thing, but when you know the topic of the subject of these channels is very controversial and dangerous, it's not like you have your child in your family Facebook that nobody outside your invited friends sees. It's a very public and actually a high risk community, because you know that predators come into these channels alongside the catchers. And all of these people do it. And I've been around this block with them a few times. Um, they will find a way to mention, or their children accidentally show up or something. And if anybody makes the most benign comment about what are you doing, allowing this to happen, then that person is put on blast
Get some help,
forever.
dude. Oh, I'm just mocking FCC. Sorry.
Hmm?
I'm just mocking
I'm not
FCC.
I'm not reading the chat, so if anyone's saying anything, I'm not seeing it.
Oh yeah, I'm just seeing it. So
Um,
FCC says, and this is why Ryan is single at 28, no family, no home, and still stuck on the internet. Like FCC is, by the way. Um, life moves fast, boy. Get some help, dude. Get some help, dude. But yeah, um, I kind of forgot my original point, but uh, Yeah, that's why I have to kind of talk, cause I don't know. I forget what I'm saying.
Well, you were saying about, oops, are we echoing again?
No, you're not echoing.
Oh, you were saying about being accused of speaking about that person's kids when in fact you simply said it was a little bit
Yeah,
concerning.
and also, Christine is someone who, when actually ended up getting kind of like frustrated with the panel because like they just literally didn't give a shit that their friend was being a suspect in a child porn investigation. She was laughing.
Well, I
Like
saw
when I was saying
her.
that all you guys are sus, like, and she was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm a suspect." Like that's like this is as if this is like a laughing matter.
no,
So
she was
laughing.
calling me mentally ill in a stream with one of Ed's friends yesterday
So
or
yeah.
earlier
So like we're
today.
not the mentally ill ones. Um, it's like that's kind of the issue.
But I mean, I don't care if she thinks that. I'm not here for, friendship and fellowship. I have a real life. But the situation with I call it, the trailer park, sewer town. There's actually three sets of channels that have been working together that you're noticing what's going on with Ed. And it was interesting to me because I'm not familiar with all you guys. This is the first time I really see all your channels. And first of all, notice what happened with this Alex. I can tell you exactly what happened a few years ago when I made that remark. I was not on this predator topic at all. There was a channel called Tipster, who is a guy who does reviews of
I
gamers
know
and
that
celebrities.
is. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, and he had a couple of different things up about there being offenders in the catcher community. And just a second, I don't know why this is happening. Uh, okay. He said there are offenders in the catcher community. And I made a remark about, because people were trying to push me into being more interested in that stuff because I was talking about the blackmail pedophile system that's at,
Yeah.
not the individual perps, but the system. And said something about, well, look at what's going on. I don't want to touch that. Then somehow or other, that Alex will, now that I've seen him actually do things, I respect him. But I had no clue who he was. And when he came in, that clip that Ed showed, somebody had that, and I know who pretty much. That group has a full file of every single minute of all my videos over the years. They've crowdstruck my channels. And who on earth could simply pull up that clip from so many years ago all of a sudden just because they saw me, they saw my comment, and Ed wanted to gaslight people into thinking my Houston remark was about Alex. And the question is, who saves clips like that? That's not because that thing is not out there because that channel was struck down a long time ago. They've struck down about 4 channels of mine, and it's part of the battle, and they can keep striking them down, but they're not going to silence what I'm doing, which is another side of what the catchers are doing. Your catchers are down there in the street doing it, doing your job, and I'm at a different level, maybe, more appropriate to being in my situation, but I'm putting together the situation with these different cases. It's with my daughter's case. Her case is connected to several others, and there's panic because when they start looking at Boston, there's going to be headlines, and they laugh at me for speaking of it like it's never going to happen. Well, it takes a long time when you've got millionaires, in the mix that are pulling the strings, and you got the street pedophiles. How many of these guys that you do in the catcher where you catch these guys, how many of them are worth millions of dollars? You,
Um, I mean, I guess not most of them, but I don't really care like about like their status. Like you mean like if they're rich or something?
I
Or
mean,
just
the ones who are running the blackmail rings, the organized crime level. The person who does the crime is doing a crime, okay? And you're doing a catch on somebody who's just doing, he's one person doing crimes against child or children. But when he's part of an organized ring, people who are protecting him, providing for him, trafficking, do you see what I'm saying?
yeah. Like I was thinking about like how to um interfere like or not interfere, that's the word. But how to kind of go up the ladder as far as like the higher organized structure of
Right,
crime regarding
right.
this.
And I'm working at that level. See, that's why when Alex invited me to go on a catch, and I said, well, first of all, I wouldn't be good on a catch because you call it live catching, and I had a bad temper and it probably wouldn't stay live. But because I do, I mean, I can laugh, but basically, there's different sides to this problem. And I'm after taking this gang down, and this is a serious gang in YouTube. It's not only in YouTube. That woman that Christy was agreeing with that I must be mentally ill, she has another name, Pothead Mama. And she had a website up. And I'm sorry if there are people who like pot here. Pot's wonderful. I'd like my beer. There's people who don't like beer. You like your pot, fine. But she had a website up with her educational videos about how to introduce cannabis to your children. And I just was joking about it, kind of sarcastically calling her pothead mama. And she took all that down. But she's been involved in some very serious stuff. And she's attacking somebody else um, on his music channel. I mean, that's just stupid stuff. It doesn't really matter here, but I'm just pointing out that you're looking at a very well organized ring. And out of the maybe 2 or 3 dozen people who are regulars in their chats and love to go around and make snarky remarks, there are maybe half a dozen that are like Clovis. Clovis is more than just a bully. She really does have a friendly relationship with her sheriff, who's in a very deep conflict of interest. And there's 2 sheriffs that are involved in this. One in Indiana and that one in Missouri. And I've talked to her sheriff, and not to him personally, but to his secretary. And his secretary confirmed for me that indeed her sheriff does drive her kids back and forth to church. She was bragging about that. She's been involved in quite a lot of
Yeah, but also actually this
shenanigans.
is kind of another thing about inappropriateness is like even talking about stuff like that as a teacher. Like, could you imagine being a young person then finding out your teacher talked about such gross things? I mean, I have the comment highlighted.
Yeah.
I don't want to like repeat a lot of this stuff, but it's like imagine like this is not a that's not a talk about like inappropriateness or whatever. I mean, that is something that is not appropriate for a teacher. So the issue is not my behavior. The level of conduct on the other side is absolutely disgusting, and I mean genuine. I mean that genuinely. Like I'm gonna respond to the merit of what you're saying. But like a lot of the things were said. I mean, if I was a teacher, I mean, I couldn't imagine talking about that and expect and it's really not appropriate. It's like shameless, basically. Like I don't know things are in but it's like I mean I can't imagine. Like
It's
like could you imagine like looking up like stumbling on the internet and then finding your teacher talking about like stuff like that.
well, that's the problem right there.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's not I'm me being in the wrong when I see genuinely concerning. It's like that's kind of the thing. I wouldn't put certain things past certain people. So it's like when I saw that comment, I really didn't. I kind of believed it. Now, what's it's not I didn't declare it as true, but I wouldn't really put certain things past certain people because it's like when you say things like that, I start to think that you would say things like that. If you say things like this, I'll start to think that you say things like that. You know. You can go with this. You can go with that. Yeah. But yeah,
Well, I just have a question for Christy. What mental illness do I have?
if you question anything, you have a mental illness. Did you know that?
Yeah, I want to know. She said I have a mental illness. I want to know the label.
Yeah. I mean, like specifically, just so you know, if you actually, you know, questions equal mental illness. That's that's true. That's the thing. Like if someone even disagrees with what you're saying, they should respond to you. They should say that okay, well, I mean, there isn't much like maybe they could make some argument against you, like as far as a specific point, but just making ad hominem attacks and also kind of insinuating like things like that if let's say you happen to or someone happens to have a mental illness, that in some way that's worthy of that's kind of the same ground as an insult. I thought that shouldn't be an insult, right? Well, it's kind of like that's kind of just bigotry on their end.
Well, it's also a lot of it is
But yeah, she's a
uh,
teacher and she said that. Like
yeah,
she
but
talked about vibrators as a teacher.
yeah,
And
and
she
she would
teaches
probably use her teacher status to back herself up.
as far as the issue of kids, like she doesn't work around like high schoolers. Like from what I know, it's like young kids.
Hmm.
And I don't care what country, that's
But
inappropriate.
if you notice, the stuff about making it about the person it's not just an isolated thing. It's a style of making sure that responsible, serious people will hesitate to become involved in a supportive way with the whole um, predator catching movement, and so they basically they're lowering the standard so that they can let the bad actors slip in, and they're also discrediting. They do it, and it's some are deliberate, and they do have a playbook, and they gather in a Discord, and the Discord chats are very dangerous because people don't realize it, but they're set up so that the admins of the Discord chats can see all of the IP and other metadata information on your account. So even if you're just hanging out there and not getting involved in any serious discussion, they are putting you in a database. Some of them. I mean, I'm sure there are people with Discord chat rooms that don't do that, but they have that capacity. And these three channels, that one is the Sewer Town channel, and then there's Clovis has about 16 channels of her own right now. Um, and some of them they'll run news stories in so that you say, oh, that's just a YouTube journalist who, like the Las Vegas shooting, for example. That's she's just, if you go after her, well, then you're against all the conspiracy or whatever. Um, and you don't think it's real, and so it starts a new argument. But in the meantime, she's got a different channel in which she's doing the attack dramas, and she's got she's got these channels where they, like I say, she's been in chats where she's exposed her own children to an extreme degree, and then reported to police that other people were doing something with their kids' information. And she was shown to have I think he's a tier 3. He was a high level registered sex offender as a moderator in her chats, and several other members of this group that Ed denied he's friends with, but he's lying. One of them is
Yeah,
Lori. He is
actually,
friends.
and you know what I would say? If if I found out that like if Christy was an employee and she was a teacher and I found out she was on the internet talking about vibrators when she teaches kids, I would that person should be fired. Christy should be fired as a teacher.
Have you looked into what's going on in the schools right
100%.
now in
She's not fit.
Massachusetts
She's not
as
fit to
well as
be around
elsewhere?
children. Oh wait,
Hmm?
what's that?
I said, have you looked into what the teachers are actually talking to the children about in the schools right now?
I'm hearing a lot of bad things.
Yeah. So I mean, she's right in there with that. That's doesn't bother her. But what I'm saying about this whole tactic, though, there are certain tactics that this group does, and they build on it.
No, I'm
And
not. No, the thing is, I
mm,
don't know. I don't know, or like, I'm not. I'm not going to make a report or anything. I'm not saying that.
no,
Uh,
I didn't
I
say
don't
you
have.
were.
No, no, I know. But Christy is.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Christy
Well, see,
is.
that's what they'll go to.
Like,
Um,
that's another gaslighting because I didn't say that. But I will say that just on the merit of what I'm hearing, again, a response. My response is a person like that is not fit around to be around children. In my opinion, like that's too weird.
yeah.
Um, like the whole grown woman after work argument or whatever. Like the thing is though, I mean, my job doesn't. It just that has nothing to do with like has nothing even to do with children. But um, it's like I just don't talk like a degenerate. Like that's you know.
Well, that's what I mean. They want an atmosphere in which only degenerates will feel comfortable.
Yeah.
It.
It's Miss.
Hey Ryan, hey Denise.
Hello.
Hey, can you
Yo,
guys hear me? Hear me okay?
I hear
yes.
somebody, but I can't see who.
Mitch. I'm Mitch, Denise. Hi. Hi.
Oh, hi. I don't. My screen might be frozen because I can't see that anybody came up.
It's whenever he has a chat highlighted, a message highlighted, it removes the names, but
Oh,
once he dismisses that, well, it'll show the name again.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but here, I just want to kind of respond to something Christy said. It's like I guess like she's insinuating in some way that she can't get fired, but if anything, that would just look bad on the school. If anything,
Well,
that would look bad on the
except
system.
that the
Now again,
school doesn't
I'm
care.
not personally, yeah, I mean, I'm not personally encouraging either way with it. I don't know anything about the school wherever she's at. I have no standing with that, and I have no intention to report or anything. Being clear, because that's a straw man. Like I did not say that. But I'm just pointing out the inappropriateness and the principle.
Yeah, but the problem is you're thinking like a normal person, and right now all of the schools have gone into this crazy level of allowing this kind of stuff to where these teachers are talking about vibrators and sex toys in the classrooms with the children. And
Doesn't
that's why
surprise
you're
me.
seeing these parents showing up at school board meetings right now. And it's all happening at once, but it's kind of like in the outside world, and you've got this predator catcher world going on here, but the two worlds bleed into each other.
Yeah, so I was just in the Dion. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's from what I'm hearing in schools, I kind of think like how it should really be is like there should just be kind of like just kind of self education as far as that goes, like where they shouldn't even be teaching in the same way they've taught, where it's like in the same classroom, like everyone should just learn at their own pace, like as far as like any kind of concept, but Like just like I would kind of almost rather just like computers teaching kids, not these kind of adults.
Yeah, I understand. I hear what you're saying. It's just that's a whole nother ball game right there.
I still have a lot of faith in technology. Like
But
maybe yeah.
I can't even see what's in the chat right now.
I'm just for I'm think I'm for automating teaching.
I think part of the problem with the rise in the population of
Yeah, but that's the
predatory
thing. Yeah, yeah, but that's the thing though. Like I didn't even say that though. Like I'm talking about it in a public forum, like a panel. That's the thing. When someone like I think they wanted to invoke a sexual topic to me, I got sketched out by it, because that's my normal reaction, because it's inappropriate, you know.
Yeah,
But no, I'm talking about publicly being a degenerate. Yeah, sorry, go on.
but I think that this whole problem we have in society right now with the rise in the number of child predators has a lot to do with some really strange changes in our whole demographics. Like, I mean, talking about being old and all. When I was a child, all the kids I knew had brothers and sisters, and usually quite a few of them, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids in a family. But now I think most people, if they have children, only have one or two. And the kids are not just able to just go out in the neighborhood and play all day with each other and only see adults, at supper time. And you had an adult world and a child world when in the 1960s and 70s. But now these children are more or less isolated, and just because of our society. And these predators don't see the kids as something separate from themselves. They just there's something just really wrong with how things are going, and I find it very discouraging that yes, you can catch them and put them away, but for every one you catch, there's 10 others still out there. And then you've even got people like these teachers that are, they're protected by their unions to actually bring right now the big deal is they're bringing these books with extreme pornography, explicit pornography, down into grade schools. You wouldn't even see that in a high school in the past. And then you're supposed to tell these kids that they got to keep themselves safe from predatory adults. It's very
Yeah,
confusing to the
yeah, because it's
children as
like
well.
it's like it's like against grooming, right? There's a whole concept of grooming, but then there's a lot of grooming that happens from teachers.
Yeah,
So I think they really don't want to teach grooming, especially in schools,
but
about
they're
grooming.
actually doing the grooming.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's
It's
exactly true. I heard there was like questionnaires about their sexual orientation at like a really young age and things like
yeah.
that. It's getting weird.
And basically what the teachers are doing, um, and a lot of this started, there were some you talk about, I hate to hear people speak about their locations when they're doing this kind of work, but you and I are familiar with the same part of the country. And back in the 1990s and 80s, late 80s and early 90s, there was a prototype program set up. This was when Bill Weld was governor, and that's significant because he's a NAMBLA supporter. And he was actually the first openly gay governor. Um, or anyway, it was in that level. And he was the governor, and he introduced a lot of the controversial sexual stuff into the schools. And the prototypes were coming out of a couple of colleges up there. And my daughter was going through the schools at the time. She was in homeschool for part of it, and she was in regular school for part of it. And as parents, we saw the first wave. We had no idea that what we were seeing was the prototype that was going to be rolled out across the country over the next 20 years, which brings us to today. And now it's like science fiction. I mean, when I see anything about what's going on in these school meetings, I just I feel like I woke up in a science fiction horror book.
Yeah. No, it really is getting like that. It's kind of like the more faith in like blind faith in a government institution, the more it can be abused as time goes on. It's kind of like, that's what it is. It's like you look the other way and you send your kid off to school, and no one thinks of it. It's like what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, in the past you could do that, but you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. And something I kind of noticed was I remember kind of picking up on the like some of the, like, I'm not a full in agreement with like all the right stuff or whatever, but I saw there was a lot of people speaking at college campuses, and I always thought they were like, I guess, straw manning the left and things like that, because I was like, I don't think that. I would consider myself on the left, and I don't think that. And I would hear them, and I would just think they're constantly making straw man arguments until I finally heard that that's actually what is going on college campuses and schools and everything like that. So it was kind of an epiphany where I learned that no, they're actually arguing with. I mean, they might not be arguing with me, but they're arguing with like shit that goes on. Yeah.
Well, it's I was there. There's an expose video somewhere. I'll have to find it and send you the link. One of these stupid gangbangers did this expose video because I was at the University of Massachusetts in the early 1970s, the big student uprising in 1972. And I met my husband there. He was there on GI Bill. He was there on GI Bill, and I was a member of the International Socialists. I was about as left as you could get. And I went from there. I left school early because we got married, and he stayed in to finish his education, and I went to work and then had a baby. But I went from being an academic student socialist to going into the unions and getting some education from my uncles and others that were in the union organizing. That's where the rubber hits the road and you discover the reality. And I became conservative right quick, but still thought I was left wing. But now today, it's crazy. It's gone into some la la land that even the most extreme leftists back in the 70s didn't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's really not a matter of like, I don't know, like, I guess left or right. It's kind of just like that things are going in a particular troubling direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like something we should be all in agreement with. Um, it's like, yeah, the people on the locksmiths panel are now here and they're triggered. That's good. Oh,
Can
is
we
there
talk about Locksmith's panel when you were on there, Ryan? Did they kick you off?
Oh yeah, they muted me, they kicked me off, and it was kind of like they asked me to come up, and then they kind of learned quickly that that was kind of a mistake.
Mhm.
And yeah, they did.
Well, props to you for going 1 on 8. That took some balls.
I think it was 9. I don't know.
Well, um, that's
Well, the
actually
combined
why.
IQ is like 70, so it wasn't that hard.
True, true, so true. But that's actually why I wanted to call and talk to you, because I was listening to what they said afterwards. So it's even crazier to know that they kicked you off and then started talking this shit about you. And that I hate that shit. Like, really, you had your chance to say what you wanted. They had their chance to say what they wanted to you, and so to kick you off, to take away your voice from the conversation, and to keep talk, that's just cowardly shit, man. And the stuff they were saying, disgusting, dude. One woman said, "When's the last time Ryan saved any kids?" And then someone else chimed in, "He's never saved any kids." And it's like, what the fuck, dude? All they're doing is exposing themselves as being so uh like sick in the head that they're willing to just deny reality altogether to say the most hurtful thing possible, you know? And they said some other things that I don't even want to bring up. That's like
Yeah,
just it's concern trolling, and you know, where
yeah,
they pretend that they're saying it out of your own good, but it's really just, you can tell it's a very thinly veiled attempt to just be as, yeah, just be really,
condescending, I guess is the word. But
yeah, condescending, but it's more vicious
but
than
also,
that, dude. They really,
yeah.
like, it's satanic, honestly, and it's really sad that they can't see it.
Well, I mean, I don't know about satanic because I'm actually a practicing Satanist, but
Well, I mean,
uh,
that's what comes to mind when I watched that
yeah,
vibe in there. They're like a wolf pack, a bunch of hyenas. It feels like demon possession to me.
yeah, but yeah. Um, these same women saying Ryan needs mental help. Yes, some of them were. But it's also, I don't know. Can you imagine though, like your teacher talking publicly about a vibrator? Like that's gross. Oh, are you there? Sorry.
Yeah, it would be nice if teachers were like Goodwill Hunting or something, and they're like these great mentors that help kids, you know, make the best of themselves. But I think most of them are like uh, overworked, underpaid, kind of just trying to get through the day at best. So yeah, what do we need the public schools for? I don't know if we should have computers teaching kids, but
That's my honestly, I kind of do.
you would homeschool your children.
I'm kind of just, I'm actually for, I think like something somewhere between that and like a self-paced like computerized system, something like that, where I would rather a computer teaching a kid than a human teaching a kid.
Well, it seems like it's hard to do worse than what we have now. It seems pretty dark out there sometimes, but
Yeah, given our
then again, I don't
society.
have kids, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, the thing is, I'm only talking about that because she talked about that. That's no, so like that's the reason why I'm talking about that.
Yeah, she laid the bait. That's what it was. It was bait. That's what they do.
It was more. I think it's just them being themselves, and when they actually show who they are, and as like they just show themselves, it's kind of creepy.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You said something about um, it was satanic, and they were like hyenas. And I was talking about this with somebody recently. We were talking about how the social media works, and the when you go way up the ladder, you discover that a lot of this stuff is, I was talking about the pilot programs that were put into effect when Bill Weld was governor. And now we realize he had set up, and it wasn't him alone. I mean, obviously he got to be governor because he was with a political group. And what they had set up was in fact a system which they profile people for their mental illness. And there are certain mental illnesses, like you get a narcissist, for example, and put that person in charge and have different other mental, some are not even mental illnesses, but personality types. But because they have all this information now from the moment a child is in kindergarten, everybody, the schools and everybody have that child profiled. So by the time they're having a career, somehow the internet now is working to bring people together just by accident. People just join groups that they're comfortable in, and before you know it, you've got a whole coalescence of mentally ill people that are grouped together and become that pack of hyenas and attack. And then behind the scenes, you've got these higher ups that know how to run it. And that's why I say there is a playbook. And when people realize they're looking at a playbook, back away from it and reclaim their individual integrity. But that's really hard because it's such a slow process for people to educate themselves about what they're facing. And the schools are dumbing them down so that people today are, I don't know, there's two things. In one way, people like yourself that are comfortable with the computers and could even think about using them as teachers with the children are probably way ahead of all this. But an awful lot of people are dumbed down to the point where they can't educate themselves, and they just get pulled into these things. Like when we look at the stupid violence in the streets and all those people in California living on the sidewalks. I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of responding here, but again, like this. So Naira, I talked about it because you highlighted this person's comment, but again, what was the comment about? It was about you and what you were talking about. Um. So yeah. Someone. Oh, I think I lost the comment. Someone wanted to ask about Catholic. Someone wanted to ask you about Catholic charities in Central American child trafficking. I don't know. You have information on that. Um, yeah, but I heard there was a lot of things going on with the Catholic Church. There's like a Catholic Church scandal.
Yeah, there is, but it's not the only one. I mean, that's part of, see, that's what was going on. Because I'm from a Catholic family and we've had to deal with that. One of the things the Catholic Church does is make the victim, or they pressure the victim to sign a non-disclosure, a silence agreement, hush money, basically, and they give a settlement. But what happens after that is they lean heavy on the family to police the victim, that person is never going to speak about what happened. And while people are right to blame the Catholic Church for doing this, one of the things that never seems to get talked about in the media is the fact that when a lot of this broke open, it was the diocese in Boston under cardinal law that was one of the first big priest scandals. And ever since then, they've been finding one after the other because the Catholic culture, the priest culture, not the average Catholic person, but the priest culture was enabling this pedophile crap. And if the bishop had turned those priests over to the Massachusetts Attorney General to be charged and prosecuted. The fact is, they would never have been brought up on charges. The Irish Mafia would have gone after the families of the victim, which they still do to this day. So what Cardinal Law was doing was hiding the priest by moving him from parish to parish. And that's the scandal that got into the media. But the media never points out that, in fact, if you were a pedophile outside of the church, you also couldn't get these pedophiles in other organizations prosecuted either, because the corruption in the political side was just as bad. And that's what's going on today. And it's the Catholic Church is certainly not the only organization that has that problem.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like you see it everywhere where there's a lot of hierarchies, because they would use their status as kind of a method of, you know, grooming and things like that, and predation.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like in the past, adults would mess with other adults, but there would be no question of messing with a child. But we just don't seem to have that boundary anymore.
Yeah, I have kind of a rule is whenever someone says like, "How dare you question this" or whatever, question it. Whenever it's
Uh-huh.
like, if something doesn't look right and then you rightfully question it and they say, in any way, like, "How dare you question it?" Question it and question the shit out of it, and just keep questioning it, and guarantee there's something behind that, like 90% of the time. Um,
Well, I hope people aren't failing to come up because I'm here. I better leave so other people will come up.
nah, you're
I
good.
didn't mean to hog your panel.
Nah, I mean, whoever wants to, I kind of make it like whoever wants to come up can come up, and that's kind of just, yeah. It's
Well,
either sometimes I
thank
just,
you for, I really
yeah,
like the way things are going. So thank you for letting me speak. I'll go now.
yeah, definitely
Bye-bye.
have a good rest of your night. So it's Denise.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Chat's liking the Denise content.
Yeah. Put a one for the if you want to hear more from Denise in the future. Once for Denise. So we get tons of ones. Oh, we got a disgruntled Luxo panel staying 0. But yeah, the rest we have ones. I think the ones win. Would you say there's more ones than zeros?
Yeah, way more.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely send on uh yeah, definitely.
I think Juniper was one of the slime balls talking shit after they kicked you off.
Yeah, in general. Um yes. So yeah, you're not banned or anything. No one's banned. Can I ask a question?
Christy was there too, and FCC and Kurt. But though
Yeah.
those people are really like messed up over this. And so, while we can't know about Ed, right? Like we weren't there, and all we can do is wait for more information to come out. But we can, with our senses in real time, observe the behavior of the people supporting him, and it's not pretty. And you know,
The
uh,
irony of saying I need help, but then having been on a caps rage on the internet. Look at that. Like that person is telling me I need help. Just saying.
she's just being a little slime bag tonight, isn't she?
It's
S-
slime. I didn't know
uh,
slime bag was a word. What's the difference between a slime ball and a slime bag? Is it like
well,
an airport thing where it's like they don't, allow a certain amount of space or
yeah, there's a really minor technical difference.
yeah.
It's nuance, but you can be both. There's like a Venn diagram of behavior. It's
Okay.
rare. It's rare, but she's a slimy one. What can I say?
Yeah. Just wanted clarification. This is an Ed Minion. Yeah, it's actually true. And the thing is, when I was actually genuinely bringing up that situation, Christy was one of the people. She actually laughed when I said that people in the panel were kind of sus defending, like just kind of not even questioning it at all. I was like, that's suspect. It's kind of like it's kind of just highlights it's not a laughing matter. Like I was dead serious when I was questioning it.
Who was laughing about it?
Christy.
Yeah, there are a couple times where they were laughing at very inappropriate moments. I'm like, what the hell? I think they're starting to crack. They're like losing
Yeah,
it.
it's the Twilight Zone over there.
Yeah, Christie's like she's laughing like the Joker now. At things that aren't even funny.
Wait, are minions one of those like yellow things with the big eyes? Because I kind of do too. I don't know.
You should be a minion for Halloween.
Yeah, I usually kind of just go with myself. Um, it's kind of just if something works, something broke, don't fix it. So going with myself has been a good costume.
Chat asks, what country is Christie? Minnesota, I believe. Twin Cities area.
Yeah, but I always asked to came up and I came up, so that's what you get.
You went up, they all talked over each other, pounced on you, went right to the insults and bullied you, and then silenced you, and then kept on with the bullying.
Well,
So,
yeah, the thing is
yeah.
with FCC is he actually tried to call out racism, but he's the biggest bigot I've ever met. Um, he he said to someone who doesn't have legs, that like reminding them that they can't run a lap, I guess, or take a lap, as he said.
Yeah,
Um, and he said that blacks in California aren't real blacks. That's what he also said. Um, just like
nice.
all these things, and he has literally made and basically every single time, if you go at him, he actually responds with some kind of they insinuate that you have some kind of disability disorder, which if you think about it, that uses that as an insult. So if say like you're autistic or something, and then I guess that means that's bad, right? As an insult,
Right.
autism is that if you have autism, that must be in some way bad.
Mm.
Even though there's people that are very smart that have autism, you know. But it's like, it's yeah, I don't know. That's kind of just an observation.
Well, you're taking something that someone can't help and denigrating them for it. I mean, isn't that the definition of bigotry? So,
Yeah,
not that I'm trying to be an SJW, but it's just to point out. I mean, I don't care that he does. It's just to point out that he calls other people racist and stuff,
yeah, he
right?
does. It's just like he has no moral compass or anything be um to be fake outraged by. Christina, I've heard of the Alex said conversation. Oh, uh,
Todd
every
rapping was
action, every action has a reaction. Do not, ever mention my kids and everything will be. That's the thing. I didn't mention your kids. You mentioned your kids, and someone brought it to my attention, and I, uh, had a genuine response to concerning information. So I didn't talk about your kids. You talked about your kids. Because I don't talk about your kids. You talked about your kids.
people will do that as a tactic sometimes. They will literally bring up their kids, and you're not allowed to talk about. You're not allowed. It's like I thought you brought it up like in the public. I'm not allowed to mention it. You do know you're in public, right? Like saying these things on a panel. Like it's designed to be consumed for entertainment, for chat to,
Yeah, the
for other
same in
people
the
to comment
same
on.
in the same panel that you're talking about your kids, you're talking about vibrators. Like that's questionable. Repetition is key. Yeah, so stop mentioning your like she mentioned her kids. I agree. She mentioned her kids.
You didn't even talk about her kids. You talked about her talking about her kids.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I did was I had a genuine reaction to a comment that someone made, which I did highlight, but um, that was my genuine reaction.
Should you just Can you just tell us what the conversation was?
Oh,
So
so basically, oh, sorry, yeah, I didn't. So
no, that's
from
okay. If I
so
were you, I'd be paranoid. I'd be
yeah,
paranoid that she's going to accuse you of talking about her kids again, just for recapping the story. But yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
so basically, Mr. Rex said, and again, it was just presented to me. I don't know the full context of the situation, but it was a YouTuber in the comment section said to me that Christy talked about her son's privates on panel, and I kind of just highlighted and I was like, "Whoa, that's concerning. That's you know that's like I kind of just responded that that's concerning. And it was very brief too. It was a very brief interaction, if I recall. Um, it wasn't like I went off about it for 5 minutes, but then they're making as if like I'm bringing kids into this when that is a very legitimate reaction to a comment. And no, she's talking about her kids.
Yeah, that's a very bad faith accusation. Ryan's
Yeah.
bringing kids into this. You know what you're doing when you do that, when you say that type of thing. But she's in chat saying that she never said, I never said Ryan talked about my kid. I said
Yeah,
that
she
he
did.
highlighted the comment from Mr. X. So she's saying that's what she was upset about, the fact you highlighted that comment, and that wasn't cool. This guy saying Christy talked about her son's whatever.
I mean, whatever it was, like whether I highlighted the comment or talked about the comment, that was my genuine reaction to it. So Like all you can really do is fault me for my own genuine reaction. Whereas,
Well, I guess it depends if it's true. I guess it depends if it's true or not.
yeah,
I
but
guess
even
you
if
could.
I don't have kids, I know the difference between right and wrong, and I think this side kind of does too. Oh, sorry, go on.
Well, yeah, it's a tactic to make the conversation uh, about us instead of about the argument. Make it about us personally.
Yeah, doesn't seem concerning for him to highlight the questions.
This is hilarious. You do not get to
Yeah,
talk on others' kids. Who do you hear doing that? Who? What is she hearing?
yeah, and exactly. I didn't talk on other kids. I talked about what was being presented to me as her talking about the teacher. So I did not do that. And it's like the irony is, or whatever it is. You're saying that I'm repeating myself. You've been trying to have the same gaslighting bad faith point over and over. Just saying, oh, you don't talk about someone's kids, you don't talk about someone's kids, but
Wait,
that's not what I did,
wait, are Christie's
did
kids
I?
adults?
Yeah, so apparently they're actually adults,
What
and they're talking about what
the
they would
hell?
agree.
What are we talking about here? Oh my god. They're
I don't know.
adults. These people are funny.
I was afraid to ask questions. The people have something to hide, don't like it, so they resort to insults and bullying. Yeah. The thing is, I mean, I don't really. I'm kind of immune to that, so I just expose them for who they are. That doesn't work on me.
What if someone came on panel who was 80 years old and or what if instead of Christie, that was about Christie, what if it was about an 80-year-old who was talking about their 60-year-old son? But could we still, is it still off limits?
Apparently,
Everybody is someone's son, you know that, right?
yeah. I mean, technically,
Or
I was growing
someone's
in the
son or
lab,
daughter.
so no.
What's that?
Technically, I was growing in the lab, but that's a whole another
You're grown in
aspect.
a Satanist grown in a lab.
Yeah.
Uh, how are you holding up? I know you didn't sleep a lot. You
No,
had
I
to work all
slept.
day.
Yeah, I went to sleep. I restored my rest. I sleep for
Hanging in there.
a couple hours. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I kind of was running on like tours of sleep. I slept like 5 hours when I got home.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It was rough, but I got through it.
Did we ever find out if that was true that Christy was taught did say that or not? Or not?
So, from what I understand, like, and I'll just kind of say both sides. This is just my understanding. Is so Christy was talking about her 21-year-old son when he was 3, but she was talking about his privates.
Hmm.
But then I guess apparently that was apparently, I guess the defense is that was a medical about something medical, which is still
Hmm.
kind of weird, but that's, I don't know, what that's the situation. I don't know. I'm just relaying it.
Okay. She felt misrepresented because the comment that you pinned did not give enough context. Made her look bad.
I guess so.
Hmm. Maybe there's some validity to that. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't want someone to do that to me, but it feels like there's a campaign against you now that you talk about people's kids, and it's a little silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, can you do yeah? Yeah.
No, no. I just tried. I thought it would be easier. Yeah. it.
Yeah, yours is like a forced yeah.
It's
I don't
not as
know.
easy as it looks. Yeah, you make it look easy.
Doesn't come out right.
Mm-mm.
Mine's
I'll have
like
to
a
work on it.
mine's involuntary.
Nice.
For polls, I make it so it's yeah or nah.
Nah. I can't do that one either.
Nah. Um. Yeah. Meanwhile, gatekeeping like any argument against her friend that's suspected child porn. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, that it was a bad faith accusation. And again, the only reason we even talk about it again was an incident response. So it's kind of like if that was really true, like if we would be talking about it,
Is
then
there something? Sorry, Ryan. Is there something blocking your mic?
oh, hold on, no,
Okay, you were just like going in and out there for a second for me.
is my audio better now?
Yeah, you sound clearer.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing with StreamYard where I have to adjust it every once in a while. The mic, the
Mm,
speaker, headset, everything for that.
cool. You were saying? Could you repeat like the last thing you said?
Oh, it's like StreamYard just makes you change up the audio.
No, no. I mean before that, because your audio sounds better now. So,
Well, I
but
forget.
I didn't hear what you said before that.
I forget what I said before that. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, what time zone are you in?
Pacific.
Pacific, so it's 12:23.
Yep.
Okay, is that late for you or?
No, I'm a night owl.
Oh, yeah, I am. Let's fill the
3:30
chat with
there.
flames. Yeah, let's put flames for that symbolize burning down the panel community, the
Yeah.
toxic panel community.
Yes.
Let's
The
burn it down.
toxic. The old guard.
Burning down the house. Yeah, got tons of flames up in here.
This is
Wow,
a most. This is a most righteous bonfire.
this is the most violent chat I've ever seen. Just constant flames. Wow.
Yes. Let it burn.
Yeah, then like saying like we can't like talk about certain things, be like this is gonna be a no drama stream and this and that. Like talk about whatever we talk about. If there's any confrontation, there's gonna be confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tracy talks about on panels while her youngest daughter is in the back. That's kind of a good point. Is like her kids are running around like behind her while she's saying all the shit. That's extra gross. And again, all this, I'm not talking about anything about her kids. I'm talking about her.
Mm-hmm.
This is not about her kids. This is about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think because of the nature of this community, and is there an echo? Sorry.
No, you're not echoing. You're good.
Uh, because the nature of this community, and it's all comes from pred catching and stuff. Like I think maybe we're kind of hyper vigilant, hyper aware. Anytime we see someone exhibiting potentially what could be construed as poor boundaries,
Yes.
So it's not to mean we're not accusing her of anything. We're just like, kind of weird. Kind of like, I've always thought it was weird that when people, you mentioned how you don't like degenerate, you use the word degenerate, degenerate talk. I noticed
Yeah.
that there are these people that insist on talking sexual, like about you, and like making weird sexual comments, and you expressed that it made you uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
and even then that wasn't enough. And so you tried explaining why it made you uncomfortable. And you would think at that point like anyone would leave you alone about it. But it still continues. And it like blows my mind. You would think that of all people this community would have more respect for like lack of consent, you know?
Yeah, it's just, and it kind of is just like, it's just creepy, kind of, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I'll
like,
say.
it's like, yeah, it's hard to explain.
Well, it's already creepy to me that people joke around like that. But if it's between two people that have that kind of sense of humor, not a
Yeah,
huge deal. Not a huge deal to me. But when one of them has said, "Hey, man, I don't like that," and they keep doing it, it's like, what's wrong with you?
and then you explain like,
Why?
okay, why you don't like it, and then they keep doing it. That's like, it's an extra layer of like force. It's weird.
At that point, it's like, wow, well, there's really something wrong with you. You are, I don't
Yeah.
know, like, I mean, I'm just going to call it what it is, like attacking, harassing a survivor. How the hell do people get away with that? How are they not like, yeah, just whatever.
I would say the word is just obscene, like obscenity, I guess, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um, what's the word? Like maybe public indecency, something like that. It's in that category. I don't know. Even Bill's huffing, puffing over there, what they're blathering. And someone else laugh.
Bill went live. Yeah, that's what Christy said before she left. I'm going to Bill's where I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
Bill said something like to the effect of like surprise anal was a joke. And like everyone, the thing is like when I was in the community, it was all new to me, and I didn't
Mm.
really get it at all. I kind of just like everyone, I saw everyone else laugh at, it, and I was like, huh? And okay. I mean, I didn't get it, but then like, but that's basically a rape joke. That's like saying that's actually
Wow,
saying, I mean,
you're right. Wow.
and like all the other things, like.
Why? Why do you have to say that to a community of survivors and people that are gathered around? It's just weird, man.
Well, thing is,
Like it's almost like people could get like a thrill out of it or something.
well, actually, you know what it really is though? They're actually not really in a real community of survivors. They're in a community of degenerates, and they call themselves in the community of predator catching, but they're not. Like, cause I mean, all the predator catchers, they don't really know who they are, and they're not really in the. I don't think they are really in the predator catch community. They're they're in kind of a like a their own degenerate community, and they just kind of calls themselves in that community, but
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah,
never talk about like me and Cam. We talked about like legitimate predator catching stuff, but they don't.
yeah. I think that's fair to say. Yeah.
I saw him Bill disgusting and couldn't believe he was even accepted in the community with this disgusting sexualization of everyone. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, but the swamp is getting drained. Hallelujah.
yeah. This is how you fill a chat for. This is how you fill a chat for NVCAP.
Joe 83
Flames.
gets it.
Yeah, that's a lot of flames. The value of friendship above Ed's suspicion. That's literally, yeah, that's true. I just went over to Bill's chat and got 5-minute cancer. My doctor just told me. I'm good now, though, guys.
Congratulations on your recovery. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, and I think CPP Sam tried to kind of allude that he was suing me.
Why?
Over I guess. So here's the thing, I never said anything above, and I tried to be very specific that Ed was clear to legal documents that that he wasn't charged and wasn't convicted and or found guilty. Um, but I mentioned that I was just taking issue that he was a suspect, and he said in some way that was defamation. So then,
Please.
and the thing is, like, he actually in the beginning tried to, like, he made this whole thing where he reached out to me and he wanted to create like a handbook or something of like for predator catchers to go by, and I mean it wasn't like a bad idea, but I kind of wanted to, I guess, maybe see where it could go, like a protocol kind of, wasn't necessarily against it. But then what happened was, like once it kind of got out that he was like working with me or something like that, like all of the gatekeepers, they kind of jumped on him. And then he denied the entire thing and then said that I'm quote unquote fired, but I was never hired. And then
Does he
and
think
then
he's
he
the CEO of pet catching?
yeah, but then he slides in my DMs and then offers to pay me off to not mention anything and accept his
Oh my.
apology. And he said, "Can you send me your Cash App and Venmo?" And I basically kind of just said like, "Look, I accept your apology, whatever it is, and but I don't want a penny from you. I I just don't want anything to do with you." Like that was
I
that was
can't.
that was actually what I said. I said I just don't want anything to do with the challenge, the quote unquote challenge, whatever it is. Challenge not accepted.
I can't believe he fired you.
In air quotes. I
Yeah.
never knew you could be fired from from somewhere you're not hired. I mean, I don't know. It's like imagine if Walmart just called you up and just said you're fired. Just fuck you, you're fired. It's like but I
Yeah.
work there. But I work there. Well, you're fired anyway. You're not hired.
But
You
then he
know.
offered you money, so he fired you before you even had the job.
But actually, it's like it's kind of
He fired you
backwards.
before hiring you.
But it's kind of ironic because I guess he was gonna give me money after quote unquote firing me, but don't you pay someone that's hired? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. He's gonna pay me after he fired me, but that's I don't know. But basically, he went on panel here and it didn't go well for him, and he kind of just went to the Bill support group. Like Bill streams kind of now are NVCAP support groups, like casualties of NVCAP. Yeah, if you've been impacted by NVCAP, then join this panel.
I like that. Casualties.
Yeah. That's why getting babysitting when you go drinking is a responsible thing to do. Oh, I guess someone's responding to something else. He was paying for some of your clout. Yeah, +1 clout. Um, Mastercard had a video.
Is that about Sam?
I don't know, but Dan saying Mastercard does a video. I can't
I'm
screen
look.
share, but
You can't.
yeah, I'm on a phone.
Oh, well, let me do it.
Oh yeah, you could do it if you
All
would,
right.
if you wish.
There's also a panel channel one where it looks pretty funny. I'm just looking at the titles of the videos on that channel, looking for ones about Sam, and there's one. Sam believes release of the Ed info was a grand conspiracy. So he's trying to deny it's even the point of saying that. You know, I'll look up the MasterCard channel.
All right, we are going to be looking at a video very soon.
I don't see this Sam one on the real MasterCard. Is it maybe on the panel channel instead?
It's from, I don't know, Dan Islander saw the video. I don't know what the video is even about. I said you can't get the victim statement after he got outed for latest domestic violence and sounded all relieved. I said the victim statement tells a different story than the story they're telling now. Or not Sam, one of the most recent ones.
Oh, he wasn't talking about a Sam video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the panel channel is one of my favorite channels I watch. It's become my favorite channel.
How great are the thumbnails?
Best. The thumbnail game is pretty good.
Yeah, whoever's behind that channel is really funny.
Yeah. It kind of looked like the latest one kind of looked like an album cover, kind of. It's like, I don't know.
I'll have to check it out.
I saw this joke that like anything can be an album cover. But
that Haystack Sniper Lock remix had me laughing. Did you see that one?
oh, the Locksmith Rage.
The mosh pit?
Yeah,
Bring it!
when the Locksmith, bring the shit. Bring the shit. Dun, 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 dun. I think they should have chose personally Down with the Sickness. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. I thought I really listened to that kind of music, but I just knew that would be a good connect.
That would work too. I'm trying to share my screen. I think it needs you to approve it.
Oh, I approved it.
People want to attack me for attacking Ryan when he's attacking Edward for something I think is a closed matter. And I'm going to, again, qualify my words. I think it's a closed matter. I'll let people do their own homework because obviously it's very clear that people didn't do their own
This is from 6 days ago.
homework.
Yeah.
The only thing that people have, what's so funny to me, it's so laughable. The only thing that people have at this time is 2 documents. And you don't know how many documents were released. There could have been 30 documents released. There could have been 100 documents. There could have been a closure of the case. The only documents that were released, and this is where you look at the Overton window and you look at who's releasing what and what intent do they have. That matters a lot. Sometimes that matters even more than what you're looking at. And it's like the drive-by media. This is why the media has so much influence. What I believe to be cherry-picked documents were released. Folks that released them and the people that did a video had a reason. They had a hatred. They had a dislike for Edward. And the timing, it was impeccably timed. People can say, oh, nobody knew about your trip and everything. I'm sorry. You know, it seemed like a lot of people knew about my trip when...
Did you say something, Ryan?
Oh, no, I was just narrating.
Everybody loved to see me get dragged by Cam releasing my audio. That was like Cam's best rated live stream. So when you say, well, nobody cared about your trip, why did people give a fuck about me being recorded illegally? To try to create chaos in something and to make me look very bad. I apologize for that. And I think that this trip and these catches, so what we're going to do, showed that I owed a lot of people an apology. They got one, and it was a pleasure working with the people that finally trusted me to put together safe and complete catches. I'm not making any statements about who or what. I don't. It's evident that there was a group of people behind the scenes that worked for this document, sort of deep throat documents. I'm calling them Deep Throat 2.0. I don't know if it was Cam. I'm not saying it was Cam or if Cam had anything to do with it, but there was an effort prior to whenever this was going on. There was more than one person involved in researching and accumulating, and then in a cherry picked fashion releasing. And again, whether Predcatcher Drama was involved with the grand conspiracy that I'm looking
Literally said grand conspiracy
into or not, I can't say for sure.
Yeah, that's what he called it.
But
Releasing
it's evident that
documents.
Cherry
Releasing public, which were actually older documents, by the way, that could have been released. It's like releasing public documents is a grand conspiracy. Not just a conspiracy, but a grand conspiracy.
The cope is unreal.
Yeah.
And he believes it's pertinent that everyone should know that this was all an orchestrated hit job on Ed. Like that's relevant for some reason.
Yeah, like we actually told the government to do that. We made the government create its hosts.
He was over the target. Had to take him down.
There was other documents and other information that was out there, and it's evident that more than one person was involved. So
That more than one person was involved. Involved in what?
Man, they're just.
He makes it sound like he's reporting on a shooting. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like what's a grand conspiracy? If anything, there's a conspiracy. It's like that a person who gives us information is a suspect in a child porn investigation. That's more of a conspiracy, if anything. But releasing and bringing to attention public documents, and the timing was impeccably strange. It just happened that I wasted all my money on JT Colfax and who else on another trip? Oh, and Ed. Yo, imagine being stuck on a trip with JT Colfax and Ed. and then paying for it. Oh my god. But just honestly, that would be like an escape room. Just being stuck on it. Because the kind of interesting thing is I was on a trip like that about a year ago, but it was like with actual catchers. And it's kind of like how things like that work is you kind of do end up depending on, like, your survival depends on each other. You guys depend on each other. But imagine that kind of like thing going on where it's Ed and JT Colfax.
Right.
Like being stuck in a car in a house with JT Colfax and Ed.
My skin is crawling just thinking about it.
Yeah. Don't put me in the second window. Don't put me on the second floor because I will jump. No. Yeah.
There's was this
using an escape route.
There was this comment I saw, and it was so funny. I screenshot it and sent it to my friend. It says, it was Jules Sargent saying, I can't remember what video this was on, but they said, the hard drives of Colfax and the Marshallist need to be taken into evidence too. I bet whoever is tasked with that job will need years of therapy.
Oh, wait, sorry. Could you say that again?
Jules Sargent left this comment that I had to take a screenshot of. And the comment says, the hard drives of Colfax and Marshallist need to be taken into evidence too. I bet whoever is tasked with that job will need years of therapy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I don't know what's going to be in that.
Years, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah, especially JT. I wouldn't want to know the things that JT Colfax has done in his life. I genuinely do not want to know. I would be
Oh,
disturbed.
just the stuff he volunteers. I can't even listen. I want to puke.
Yeah.
Therapy isn't going to cut it. Yeah, a shock therapy maybe. Maybe a lobotomy.
I don't know what a lobot. Wait, for some reason I'm forgetting what a lobotomy is.
Isn't that where they like take out your brain?
Oh, then you die, right?
A surgical. Uh,
Oh,
uh, I'm looking it up. Sorry. Chat will know. Chat will know before I. Oh, they only take out part of your brain.
oh. I'm saying if they took the entire thing, you wouldn't be much left. I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
You might end up on a panel.
What kind of comment is
That says
that? Only.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. That explains the behavior of a lot of people we see on panels.
Yeah. I mean, you won't take all of it, though. Yeah. Take with the cerebral cortex, my guy. So your brain is not fully developed. Marshall's is a type. Yeah, Marshall's is a weird dude. He actually like was screaming like taunting like a kid, and I guess like when him and Tommy were getting at it, like it was I guess I think it was like it kind of turned to like a shouting match, but I kind of just like I kind of genuinely got almost startled at it. I was like, "Are you serious? You're like a 50-year-old guy like yelling like sounding like squealing like a kid, being like it was like said like I don't know how it was like screeching or something like." I can't do a martialist impersonation. It's very hard to do. But do you kind of know what I mean? Or
When he was freaking out, screaming at the top of his lungs at Tommy about his kid.
yeah, that was one thing. But he was like, "Your kid got raped" and all this crazy
Mhm.
stuff. And then he kind of did some screeching routine with me. I forget what it was about. But I was like, "What's wrong with you?" Like I don't know.
So,
I just kind of was taken aback. I think taken aback was
yeah,
more of a word for me. I don't know. I didn't really go with it. When
that
I
was
see a
that was.
50-year-old man sounding
Oh,
like an 11-year-old, like insulting a kid in the playground, that's not something I'm used to.
oh, he lost his mind. He completely flipped his lid. He had lost all control when he was like chimping out. Oh my god!
You know,
Are you kidding me?
let's get weird.
And
And it looks like he's about to rob a convenience store with that mask. It looks creepy with the mask. It looks like he's about to do things.
where were all these "don't bring kids into it" people? Uh,
Yeah, exactly. And they're all defenders of. Yo, that's another thing. Like, it's so many layers of hypocrisy where they still had no issue with the martialist, who's a person that mocked Tommy's kids for being victims. And while I just highlighted a comment about someone else talking about their kid in a disturbing way, they're saying don't talk about someone else's kids. Meanwhile, talking about someone else's kids in response to all of that. Okay.
lethal levels of irony.
Yeah. What is it? I for some reason I'm confused about the concept of irony. I just kind of always insert the concept of hypocrisy or inconsistency with irony, but apparently irony means something else.
Hypocrisy and inconsistency. That's exactly. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that, dude. You They had to go so far out of their way to accuse you of bringing kids into it. It was even a stretch to act like you were doing that. But here's a guy screaming about a kid, like child rape at the top of his lungs, a 50-year-old man chimping out, and the same people had nothing to say. Like, come on. They're just exposing themselves at this point.
Right, if you want to see me without the mask on, I know what he looks like. Mod me for 2 minutes, then I can grab video. I don't want to dox name. Then not mod me. I don't care. I'll just mod you. Let me see how this works. Well, actually, I don't want to dox anyone. I want to be accused of doxing. No. I just kind of know, and if it's kind of like if you don't know, then you don't know.
Well, does he
People can
not
find
want?
out if they want to.
Does he wear the mask to hide his face, or like just because he thinks
I
it's
mean,
cool?
apparently his identity is like very blatant, and he wears. It's like, okay, I'll put it this way: within the docs, like he wears the same mask. Like there's a picture where he's wearing the same mask, um, that he wears, but then there's one where he's not wearing the mask. Um, so he was really bad about hiding his identity, but I to be honest, I don't get why he wants to. I don't get the mask. It's strange.
Yeah, I personally don't care enough for it to be worth it to give them ammunition against you.
Yeah. So we'll take the high road with the marshals here.
He's lucky. He's lucky we have. Not that he deserves it, obviously.
I don't live in a trap house. I live in an apartment.
Lobotomy. I found out what it was. The surgeon drills holes into either side of the top of the person's skull and then uses a tool to manually sever the nerves between the frontal lobe and other regions. So I don't think they take out part of the brain. They sever the nerve.
Yeah.
They don't take out the brain at all.
It's like they should have one of those PSAs where it's like, this is an egg, and this is a frying pan, and this is what will happen after a locksmith panel.
This is your brain on locksmith panels, and then you see the egg sizzling. Cracked egg.
Yeah.
Locksmith used to be the place to be, man. It used to be.
Yeah, it'd be funny, a very literal version of that PSA. It'll be like, this is an egg, this is a frying pan, and then smash the egg, and now this is a frying pan smashing an egg, and then just not saying anything.
And then that like the more you know graphic comes up in the music.
Yeah. Just don't say anything, and then just say, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you wanted to see. I mean, that's, yeah, okay. I just wanted to smash an egg with a frying pan.
You should do that as a YouTube short. Yeah. This is an egg. This is a frying pan. This is what happens when a frying pan smashes an egg. Any questions? The more you know.
And then someone says, okay, well, what's the meaning of all that? What is the point? Be like, are you fucking stupid? I just smashed an egg with a frying pan.
What are you, an idiot?
I mean, what do you mean?
I like it.
You didn't see what just happened? You didn't see what just went down? You have good memory, though. You remember shit that went down. Let's go. I don't know if I have a good memory. My memory's not as good as it used to be. Is it? I don't know.
Do you plan to do any catches coming up, or are you kind of waiting to see how everything shuffles out, the lay of the land after like this big, the big purge? The YouTube purge.
No.
It's kind of dangerous for you to do a catch, right, on your channel at this point on YouTube.
Well, I'm not gonna do it exactly the way, but I plan on actually going live on YouTube. but doing it in a particular way.
Mhm.
So well, actually, I'll just say it. I'm gonna go live on here.
Mhm.
And then and then immediately kind of put the video somewhere else, but it'll just be live. The live catch will be on Fireside.
Cool.
That's kind of my plan. And yeah, I mean, as far as like catches, I'm not gonna go for like doing a catch in a certain kind of way or really well in a certain kind of way or doing a certain amount. I'm living in my home city, and I just want to basically gather information on online predators in my home city and disseminate that information to the public, and that's it.
Oh, so will it be live streamed?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
I believe in live streaming it.
cool. And uh, were you the one who like tried to do catch with on StreamYard so people could ask the pred questions?
Yeah, it didn't work out well though.
Interesting concept. Would be uh, could be cool if you could get it to work, but I don't know how practical it is.
Yeah, put it this way, I will have to vet the person. It won't be like a free speech panel
Hmm.
with the catch
Right, right.
because
That could be
if I
dangerous.
have because literally it's like let's say someone just won't like all it would take is someone could just not like me, right? And
Mm,
then they would just threaten the predator or something, and then all of a sudden there's an argument that the predator was threatened, and then it ruins the case.
yeah, yeah. I would
So
rather see people who are prepared. You know. Yeah.
if I were to do even anything like that, it would have to be a situation that it would have to be a situation that um that I would be very particular about who I'm letting on. It would just be like in any other context, I would have a free speech panel, but just not a catch.
Mm. Well, I look forward to your next catch, and always good to talk to you, Ryan.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right, you too, man. Later.
I think I'm gonna wrap it up. We've been kind of on for about 2 hours. Time goes fast in panel time. But yeah, I'm gonna end it off here.